PodcastOne presents the Steve Austin Show Classics.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. Goddamn, I got a son of a bitch for you today. But before I get started, I want to send out this show to all the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Whether you're on our turf or somebody else's turf, thank you for everything that you do. Also, for the men and women in blue, the firefighters, all the first care responders, all those cats that do all the important shit. I sit here on my ass in entertainment business. You guys allow me to do what I do. This show goes out to you. And with that being said, I'm going to wash down the trail dust with the cold. And right now, I'm going to pop a top to all the fine people I just mentioned. Here we go. See if you can hear this. Oh, that's right. Let me take a sample of this tasty beverage. Son of a bitch. Now, that's a good beer. I had this beer sitting in my freezer about the last 5 minutes, right before that motherfucker's about to start icing up. I pulled it out of there, and I'm guzzling down right now. I'm going to drink it while I talk to you. If I run out of this sumbitch, I'll push the pause button and go get me another one. Why? Because it's America, and a goddamn guy can drink beer in his own crib and not worry about a goddamn thing. If you people listen to my voice and you say, God damn it, Steve sounds congested as a motherfucker today, it's because I've been sitting my dumb ass in an SUV going down the highway traveling with the air conditioner blasting. I ain't sitting here snorting lines of cocaine in my crib. My fucking nose is stopped up, and it is what it is. People, let's talk about the word of the day. We started off this little exercise and trying to build up our vocabulary a couple of weeks ago, and at the suggestion of my wife, I might add, and we started off with pussyfoot. And pussyfooting was kind of dilly-dallying around and not making a hard-line effort to go get something done. If I put pussyfoot in a sentence, it would be like, the motherfucker was pussyfooting around and wasn't taking care of business. That's how we would use that. So I figured let's kind of follow up pussyfoot with something kind of in that vein. And I came up with a word that I use all the time that I don't hear a lot of city slickers using. So the word of the day this week, cattywampus. Cattywampus. Well, you ask me, Steve, what does cattywampus mean? Well, let me tell you what it means. Cattywampus basically means kind of askew or awry, out of sorts. Like the accident left the frame on the car totally cattywampus. Yeah, that makes sense. The motherfucking wind blew so hard, his glasses were cattywampus on his head. The wind fucked his glasses up. Cattywampus. Here's one. A goddamn carpenter builds a shitty set of stairs. Well, he did a great job on the house, but them goddamn stairs are kind of cattywampus. You see what I'm saying? That's the word of the week, folks. Cattywampus. Put that one in your vocabulary and use it on your damn friends. They'll think, where in the fuck has this sumbitch been studying? Because I like that word. Not only is it cattywampus, not only is it 4 syllables, but the motherfucker sounds good. Cattywampus. Use it, folks. Use it. Let's segue into traveling right now. Because I told you guys I started off in Los Angeles and I had to go down to Texas and take care of a piece of business. Well, our RV, my wife and I sold our RV a couple of months ago, and we've been looking for a new one, but we ain't got one yet because I like traveling, I like driving, and I like camping. Most of the time when we RV, it's on I-10 going back and forth to the ranch. Right now, because we don't have an RV, we drive my wife's SUV. We put all the seats down in the back, load all our shit up, and put the dogs back there, and then we get on the road. And it's a 1,500-mile drive from Los Angeles, where we live, to the ranch. It's right at 1,500 miles. Now, we was in the RV because you couldn't drive as fast. It takes 2.5 days to get down there. In the SUV, I can make it in a day and a half. Driving about 800 miles that first day, 700 that second day. And we got off a couple weeks ago, well, 10 days ago, whatever it was. And driving from Los Angeles to Texas was easy. We stopped in Las Cruces, bedded down for the night, Got up early that next morning and made it down to the ranch by about 3:30 p.m. 1,500 miles in a day and a half. I drive every step of the way because I like to drive. I like to have a steering wheel in my hand, and I always figure it's like my old buddy, rest in peace, Ravishing Rick Rude used to always say, "God damn it, Steve, arrive alive." Well, I've been doing that, Rick, thanks to your advice for many years now. And I'll never forget that old Rick Rude used to always tell me that as we was hauling ass down the highway. But we got down to the ranch, and we worked for about a week after taking care of business. And then we got in the car after loading it all up and got ready to come back just the other day. And this was going to be an interesting trip because, I'll just start it out like it happened. I got up about 4 a.m. that morning, started drinking coffee. We had the car already about 3/4 packed. Got up, fed the dogs, let the dogs go to the bathroom, and I'd go ahead and just slam down 3 big-ass cups of coffee, eat my breakfast burrito, and I'm ready to go. But everybody knows when you're about to go on a road trip, you always try to take care of your bathroom breaks before you go. And when I say bathroom breaks, I ain't talking about taking a piss. I'm talking about taking a goddamn dump. You always try to take a dump before you get on the highway. Well, as luck would have it, I didn't have that movement churning around in my guts when I left, so I didn't get a chance to take my pre-trip dump. So I figured, well, no big deal. It's just going to be kind of a long day, and I got to work through this motherfucker because it is what it is. Because if there's one thing I can't stand is pulling over at a goddamn truck stop to take a shit. So I got 800 miles to go. I figure we're going to go to Las Cruces because the plan is to stop there, even though we have about 3 more hours of driving time, to stay at the same hotel that accepts dogs. So anyway, I'll tell you what happens when we get to Las Cruces in a little bit. But it's going to be 800 miles before I get there. And we get going down the road, and I'm going to do the best I can to try to hold everything in. But right now I'm cool. And we ended up making it about 100 miles, and the dogs started barking. And when I mean the dogs started barking, I'm not talking about Hershey and showing our dogs in the SUV. I'm talking about my intestines saying, dude, you better pull your ass over and sit down on some porcelain because there's about to be some shit flying out of your ass real quick. So I put my blinkers on because I'm a safe driver, as we talked about that in a couple earlier shows. And my wife looks up at me and she says, what are we doing? I said, we're pulling over. She said, why? I said, I got a shit. And she's looking around. She says, well, what truck stop you going to? I said, I can't make a truck stop. I'm pulling over at that Bill Miller barbecue. So if you people in Texas know about Bill Miller barbecue, pretty good place to eat. Well, right now it's only about 7 o'clock in the morning. They got a damn line of traffic going through the driving window. Everybody's getting their breakfast burritos to head to work and do whatever they got to do. So I'll pull in the side of that sumbitch, go in the back door, slide right in the bathroom, sit down on the goddamn porcelain, and nothing happens. It's always funny when you got a shit like a crippled goose. All of a sudden you hold it for a little bit, then you go drop trowel, and then you sit down, and nothing happens. And it's not like you can just sit there and grunt and struggle and strain, and shit's going to start flying out of your ass. You kind of just got to wait for that movement to happen within your bowels, and then that's when the magic happens. So finally, after sitting there for about 5 minutes, and I'm not trying to get all graphic about this, but the magic happened. It felt like a goddamn covey of quail flew out of my ass. It was a majestic moment that I'll never forget. I took care of my business, got back on the road, and we started hauling ass. And when you're driving with me, when I drive, I run radar. And I'm a safe driver, and I pay attention to all the signs and watch my cars. But I'm running radar, and I'm driving anywhere between 75 and 95 because I always got a long ways to go and a short time to get there. So everything was going great. We passed through San Antonio, Bernie, Kerrville, Junction, Sonora, Ozona, all those little towns, Van Horn, Baal Marie, Sierra Blanca, the check station that all the country and western stars get pulled over for dope. Finally make it into El Paso. Congratulations, El Paso. You motherfuckers are the worst drivers in the United States of America. I don't know what it is about El Paso, but these motherfuckers just do not give a shit. And when I say El Paso has the worst drivers in the United States of America, Austin, you're probably number 2. So don't think that, you're not going to get mentioned here, Austin, because, I'm from Austin. Austin's got some shitty drivers too. But specifically, El Paso. When you come into El Paso, from outskirts of town on one end to the outskirts of town on the other end, it's about 25 miles. I've clocked it many, many times. 25 miles. Got to be the longest fucking city. It's not a big city, but it is a big city, but it's not a gigantic city like Los Angeles. 25 miles and the most treacherous motherfuckers you could ever get behind the wheel. And these motherfuckers don't know what blinkers are. I don't even think that they know that stalk is on the left side of that steering wheel. And if you pull it left, if you pull it down, you can turn left. If you push it up, you're going to go right. They don't even know that motherfucker exists. And talk about some mirrors, them little shiny gimmicks on each side of your door, and that one shiny gimmick hanging from your windshield, that motherfucker's a rearview mirror. If you look in those motherfuckers, you can see cars behind you. It tells you if it's safe to move over or not. Here's a quick shout out. Want to say thank you to the lady driving the gold Toyota Camry who was putting on her eyelashes and her makeup for damn near killing us as we passed through El Paso because she was doing her fucking makeup in the mirror. She knows there's a mirror in that car, but it ain't to see cars with. It's for her to put her goddamn mirror on while she's driving to work. Heads up. Put your goddamn makeup and eyelashes on before you leave the fucking house. You almost killed us. Pull a goddamn Tony Stewart on us, put us in a goddamn curb. I'm going to tell you, if you're driving through El Paso, put your hands at 10 and 2, put your seatbelt on, and keep your head on a swivel. Because these motherfuckers are going to come at you from all different directions. I've been driving forever. I love to drive. But motherfuckers that almost kill you while you're on the road, it's just goddamn ridiculous.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
We made it down there safely. We made it back safely. And that was the driving part of it. But let me tell you about the part there when we stayed at the ranch. We got down to the Broken Skull Ranch, and we've been so fortunate this year that we had a lot of rain. There's been about 2 4-inch rains. We had an inch rain, a 3/4 inch rain. We got about 3/4 of an inch before we even got there. And we rolled into place. I understand we've been in a hell of a drought for a long time in South Texas. So when that land gets that damn rain, everything just greens up like a motherfucker, and the ranch was looking good. We switched protein in our deer feeders about 3 months ago. It was already time to refill those things. As green as it is down there, those deer love the protein. And protein helps them grow big horns. It helps them put on body weight and helps them doze with the fawns. And so Ted Fowler came down, and he filled up the bulk of all the protein feeders. He's always out there working his ass off doing something, and got that done. And then we walked around, and deer drop their horns every year. They're antlers, and like a cow keeps his horns its whole life, a deer will shed his antlers every year. A lot of people don't know that, and then they'll grow back. So about this time of the year, after the deer have already dropped their horns, we'll ride around and walk through the brush and try to find those shed horns. Try to find the biggest horn we can find. And when you're out there at this time of the year, it's rattlesnake season. And you got to walk around with your snake boots on so you don't get your ass bit by a rattlesnake. And to those people who don't know what rattlesnake boots are, or snake boots in general, they're not made out of rattlesnake skin. They simply just are boots that come up to damn near about your knee, so that a rattlesnake or a snake strikes, it will hit you in the tough Kevlar nylon material and not be able to pierce your leg and pump in venom. So, man, I'm out there walking around on parts of that ranch that I've never walked before. Didn't find a goddamn shed horn one. And I was thinking, as my wife was way over there across the pasture, I'm in a part of the goddamn ranch that doesn't have no cell phone service. I'm thinking, even though I got my rattlesnake boots on, I know I'm going to be the sumbitch who kicks up on a big-ass rattlesnake with about a 40-inch vertical leap who's going to bite me right on the end of my fucking dick. And it's going to be a story about, well, how did old Austin die again? Well, he's looking around trying to find some shed horns, and a damn rattlesnake bit him on his dick. And that's how I'm going to lose my fucking life, getting bit by a rattlesnake. But anyway, didn't find one single shed horn, didn't get bit by a rattlesnake. Everything turned out okay. But what did happen was I got into a hell of a feud with a woodpecker. A goddamn woodpecker had been bothering us. This same damn woodpecker has been there for a couple of years. Every year, over there by my bedroom, this sumbitch starts boring holes in there with his beak. And this year, he had about 10 holes drilled. And I got pictures of these motherfuckers I'm going to put on my damn website, BrokenSkullRanch.com. And I'm thinking to myself, man, look at this motherfucker. He is eating the shit out of my house. And one hole ain't enough for him. He's got at least 10 holes up there. So I'm thinking, man, what am I going to do for this motherfucker? And the house I got out there is a triple wide. And for rich people who don't know what a triple wide is basically a fancy version of a double wide. You know, where they bolt two sides of a house together? This is where they bolt. It's kind of like putting a sandwich together in the form of a house. There's 3 parts to it. So anyway, this sumbitch is chewing holes in my house, and the exterior is called T111 paneling. It's just some paneling. I don't know, it's 3/8 of an inch thick or whatever. And a goddamn woodpecker will attach itself to the side of the house and start beating the shit out of your goddamn house with his beak. And a woodpecker's got a beak on him like a goddamn chisel. I mean, these motherfuckers are ruthless. And when they're doing that pecking on your house, it's called drumming. When you hear a woodpecker drumming on a damn tree, it's he's trying to rattle them insects inside, and when those insects come out, he eats them up. Or if it's mating season, he's trying to build a nest, and he's trying to carve into the wooden structure. So this sumbitch is kicking the dog shit out of my house. And I start doing some research on these fucking things, and I find out they're protected by the government as a migratory bird. If you want to kill a woodpecker, you got to send in to the damn State Department to get a permit to kill the motherfucker. Well, now I'm in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and I got a woodpecker killing the shit out of my house. I got 10 holes in this motherfucker, so I'm thinking, man, what do I need to do here? I got to respect the law. I don't want to kill the bird just to kill the bird, but he's beating the fuck out of my house, so something's got to give here. Well, old Ted Fowler's down there, and Ted's a carpenter by trade, so Ted cuts up a bunch of badass T111 panels and just nails them over all the holes. Pretty fancy looking strips. It's a good clean application. We got to come back and paint them later. But for the time being, problem solved. That motherfucking woodpecker is snuffed out of his holes. He can't do no more damage. If he does want to do some more damage, he's got to go through those new panels that Fowler just put up. So we kind of got the problem licked. Well, not so fast, my friend. It's about 6 a.m, and this sumbitch is pecking on that house every goddamn morning. I got my 410 break action single shot shotgun sitting there right there next to my bedside table. I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, this is prior to Ted putting up those strips, so I'm thinking the motherfucker's just going to fuck off, fly away, and go bother somebody else. Well, that ain't what happened. This little prick shows up, and once he's seen that his handiwork has been covered up by Fowler's boards, he starts squalling like a motherfucker. I ain't never heard a bird screech like this. I do it, but I can't do it any justice. And I'm thinking, man, look at this motherfucker. I fucking swing my ugly ass out of bed. I put on my T-shirt and I grab my shotgun, and my wife says, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to go shoot this motherfucker. She said, he's just mad because you covered up his holes. Get on back in bed. So I put the shotgun down, take off my shirt, get back in bed, fluff up my pillow, pet Hershey, who sleeps in bed with us, get all nestled in, and I'm going to try to take my ass back to sleep, get another hour of sleep before I go grab some coffee. And that's when that motherfucker started going again. He started going. pecking on that goddamn house. And I said, oh, no, you don't, motherfucker. There's going to be a lot of things you're going to do, but pecking on my motherfucking house this morning ain't going to happen. So I'm going to pick up his shotgun. I'm going to drop a shell in that chamber. I'm going to snap that barrel. I'm going to pull back that hammer. I'm going to sneak down that railroad tie and blow your ass to smithereens. That's what I'm going to do. My wife says, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go shoot that motherfucker. And she knew when I said that, just like when she told me to get back in bed, it was time to get back in bed. But when she heard the tone of my voice and I'm going to go shoot that motherfucker, she's down with it because now it's encroaching on her too, and she don't want to listen to that motherfucker peck on the side of the house no more than I do. So permission was granted to go shoot that cocksucker. So I sneak out the door. I got my shotgun ready. I'm barefoot. I make sure the screen door don't slam to scare that prick off. I walk all the way around the side of the house, creeping stealthily like an Indian on the railroad ties, using balance, sheer precision, stealth, cunning. What a hunter. Steve Austin on the prowl, kill the hill, the goddamn woodpecker, and stop him from tearing up my home. I flush him, he flies. Gun up, hammer back, boom! Shot fired. The shot heard round the damn Broken Skull Ranch. And the woodpecker flies off. I miss that little feathered motherfucker. Son of a bitch. I was looking for the goddamn shotgun shells for my 12-gauge Benelli automatic, but I couldn't find them because I knew I wasn't going to hit that little bastard with the first shot on a single-shot 410. That motherfucker laughs at me, and he goes and lights on a telephone pole about 50, 60 yards away. I had one other shell in my pocket. I ejected the first shell, jacked in the other shell, aimed at the bird a little bit above him, and shot. The bird was out of range. I knew it was out of range when I shot. I was just going to shoot to see if one of the BBs might get lucky and pierce that motherfucker's chest. He sat there and continued to laugh at me and chirp and all kinds of horse shit. And this motherfucker's got that big-ass beak that's used to fucking, drilling in shit and eating worms and killing my fucking T-111 paneling. So I said, well, look at this motherfucker. I guess it's going to be all over from here. So I put the goddamn shotgun up, started drinking coffee, and when I left the ranch, the woodpecker is still alive. To any of you people out there that might be with Texas Parks and Wildlife, whoever, I didn't fill in any forms. I wanted to, but I didn't get around to it. I tried to kill that bird. I'm not going to lie. But I did not kill that bird. Didn't harm a feather on his body. He's still there. I'm in Los Angeles. He's in Tilden, Texas. He's beating the shit out of my house. So right now, it's Woodpecker 1, Austin 1. The score is tied. But I couldn't leave it like that. I couldn't just drive away with my SUV packed, my dogs in there, my wife in there, buckled up for safety, headed back down I-10 West towards Los Angeles without taking one more step. So I got on the computer and started researching. What do you do to prevent a woodpecker from attacking your house? Well, the computer said you can hang like mylar strips, like plastic strips, anything that streams. Stuff that you would basically, like those little pinwheels that you blow on at a birthday party that are on a stick. You can hang shit like that from your house. And one of my first gimmicks was I was thinking about doing something real redneck. I was thinking about just setting a bunch of goddamn rat traps on the side of my house and nailing them in. Let that motherfucker come over there and go to drill and get popped up by one of those rat traps. But I didn't do that. But the dictionary, the computer said hang some plastic strips, pinwheels, reflective material. You can put a mirror on the side of your house, all kinds of stupid shit. Because we went to Walmart that day, and I got some yellow tape as caution tape, because I was just going to cut 3 or 4 foot strips and use thumbtacks to put in that roof overhang to put those plastic strips down. And, I mean, this is going to be one jerry-rig motherfucker, because I knew someone's going to drive up there. I don't get a whole lot of visitors out there at the Broken Skull Ranch, but I knew someone was going to drive up and think, man, look at this white trash motherfucker. Look at the side of his house. And it'd be one thing to sit there and fucking dress my house up like a piñata, but I guarantee you, no sooner than I had put up all those goddamn little fucking gimmick ribbons and stuff like that, my house looks like a big-ass piñata sitting there. I'd drive down from California one day and have a bunch of kids blindfolded out there beating the shit out of my house with a stick, think it's just a fucking piñata, and it's going to spit out candy everywhere. That's how my fucking luck would work. So no, I didn't dress up my house like a piñata. I don't know if that was a rib or what, but that's what the computer said. If anybody out there is listening to the Steve Austin Show and you got a goddamn good reason or you've got a good way to get rid of a goddamn woodpecker, send it to questions@steveaustinshow.com, because right now I'm in the heat of battle with this motherfucker and I ain't going to lose. Goddamn woodpecker. Beating holes inside my house. A little bastard. And I tried to do something about him and found out he's protected by the law. Well, you know, and here's the thing. When I got up on the ladder, we got some rocks running around the side of the house there. So it's kind of treacherous climbing up that motherfucker. I don't want to sound like it's fucking Sylvester Stallone and Cliffhanger hanging off the side of a mountain. But when you get my crippled redneck ass out there in a pair of flip-flops on a fucking aluminum ladder on top of a rock bed, it gets kind of treacherous. You know what I'm saying? I got a damn thing here about some current events going on in the world. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I was just in the other room fixing to go to the gym after I get done with this, and I put it on Headline News, Channel 204 on the goddamn Direct TV, and them goddamn lawyers for Jodi Arias is trying to make a mistrial. They done found her guilty with extreme cruelty. And right now they're supposed to try to see if they're going to put her in a chair or get whatever they do to kill her or give her life in prison. And her damn dirtbag lawyers are trying to say that it's a mistrial, that it was never a fair trial with all the media coverage and the horse shit that was going on the entire time. So now they're filing for a mistrial. For those of you who work your ass off and don't know who Jodi Arias is, back in 2008, she murdered her boyfriend in cold blood. She stabbed him 29 times, shot him in the head, and then cut his throat from ear to ear and said it was in self-defense. And then she called him a pedophile, dragged his name through the mud. This was a good kid, this Travis Alexander that she killed. She's guilty as a shithouse rat. They found her guilty. It was a consensus. Everybody agreed that she was guilty. She lied to the jury countless times the entire trial. She's a psychopath. She's full of shit. And right now, they're trying to declare a mistrial. Well, I say absolute horse shit to that. Let's come to a decision of what's going to be done to this bag of shit and move on with our lives. So I won't even go into the story that I had here on my computer about that, because that's the latest, greatest on that shit. Oh, here's one for you. Teen female hipsters fueled the Free Jahar movement. Jahar is one of those bombing suspects in the Boston bombings. You know, they killed the other cat, and these two were brothers. This is from, the Blogmocracy website. And the article, I'll read a little bit of it. It goes like this. To the majority of Americans, Dzhokhar Jahar Sanarv is an goddamn, that's a hard name to say. Jahar is an Islamist terrorist scum. To hipsters, start all over here, Rich. All right, and this is from a website I got on the internet. And it's titled, Teen Female Hipsters Fuel the Free Jahar Movement. To the majority of Americans, Dzhokhar Jahar Tsarnaev is an Islamist terrorist scum. To hipsters, the Chechen terrorist has become the new Chi of their generation. With his hipster looks, Jahar is considered one of them, and as such, he has become a cause. This has even reached teenage hipster girls who view Jahar as a sex symbol and cultural icon. Some teenage hipsters have gone so far as to even have Jahar's tweets tattooed on their arms. There's some stupid motherfuckers out there. Even worse, some of the smitten young hipster chicks have written romantic fantasies about him. Well, what in the fuck is the world coming to? This is not a laughing matter and is actually scary. Unlike other Islamic terrorists who look scrabby and like 7th century idiots, Jahar looks like your typical hipster. The fact that he is white allows hipsters to relate to him and consider him one of their own. Jahar is rapidly becoming a cultural icon to the hipster set and expect to see T-shirts and even a movie glorifying him. Now, why would anybody glorify this piece of shit? He's red-handed guilty. I know he's just a suspect right now, but it is what he is. It is what it is. He was caught red-handed with a bunch of goddamn bombs and guns and shit like that on him. And now the fact that maybe he's a little bit of a good-looking cat, I don't know. I don't think he is. Or because he's a white hipster, the fact that he's white allows hipsters to relate to him. Well, I'm white too, and I don't relate to this piece of shit, and I just soon put my white foot up his white ass. That's what I think about this piece of garbage. I don't know what in the fuck is wrong with the world today. This guy and his brother blow up some bombs in downtown Boston, right in the Boston Marathon, kill about 8 people. I don't know how many people are missing limbs because of this piece of shit, and people want to glorify him. Is that how detached the youth of America are? To think that this motherfucker's cool? That he could be even closely identified with these cats would be enough. But the fact that he's red-handed guilty is reprehensible is what it is. I do not understand what the fuck's going on in the world today. And speaking of pieces of shit, I'm looking here at that Ariel Castro guy. The guy who kidnapped the 3 chicks in Cleveland 10 years ago, fathered a kid by one of them. I think he killed another one, and is giving an update about what this piece of shit is doing in his cell. Well, he lays on the mat staring at the floor, and he's staring at the ceiling. He said thank you to a guy for bringing him some food, and then he said, thank you, have a good day, officer. And this guy is going to plead not guilty to the absolutely astonishingly horrible crimes he committed against human beings. Let me tell you something, you low-life sack of shit. This motherfucker's red-handed guilty. He don't deserve a trial. It absolutely incenses me that this motherfucker has the gall to plead not guilty. Here's my final story I want to cover about a homeless man in Florida. Help Find Handover is the name of the article. Dog stolen from a homeless Florida man. Check this out. I want to read this to you. James is a homeless man from Hudson, Florida, who's lost more than most people could ever imagine. He lost his wife to cancer last year. Then he lost his farm, his car, and even his belongings. The only thing left in the world for James to love was his 5-year-old blue pit bull named Handover. The dog was a gift from his late wife given to him to help ease the pain she knew he would go through when she was gone. Can you imagine that? Now Handover is missing, along with the last few belongings James could call his own. Handover went everywhere with him. At night, James would tether Handover to his leg near a junction on US 19. On the night of May 8th, the two friends went to bed together on Highway 19 and Beacon Woods Drive. When James woke up, Handover was gone. So were the rest of his belongings. Someone stole this homeless guy's dog and the rest of his shit. What in the fuck is going on in the world today? It's the homeless man. The motherfucker ain't got nothing but a dog and a couple of his belongings. Someone come and jacked all his stuff. James is afraid Handover was stolen to be used in a dogfighting ring. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's dogfighting. He's asked the public to help him find the only one in the world who truly loves him. Several news stations are now picking up on the story with video broadcasts. Now all James can do is wait. Handover is an unneutered male blue pit bull. He has white on his chest and also has a bit of white on the tip of his paws. Anyone who has seen Handover is asked to contact helpfindhandover@gmail.com or call 727-378-9755. Hey, man, if any of you guys out there know anything about handover down there in the Florida area, call that number or send in that damn information. Let's try to get this cat his dog back. It just absolutely incenses me that a sumbitch could steal another man's dog.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
All right, let's talk about some emails. Here's a couple of comments, a couple of questions you guys sent in. The first one's from old Jerome. Jerome or Jerome, I can't remember. Can't see how he wrote his name down here. But it says, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh, hell yeah. I fucking love this podcast. I'm so damn happy to hear the rattlesnake talking shit. I am a police officer, and I ride around all night jamming to the podcast. If I could only have glass break when I get out of my car, I would have it going on. I'm a big fan, and my buddy Adam told me about the show. I've told everybody since, and they all love it. Keep on rocking, Steve. You the man. Hey, man, let me tell you something, Jerome. I appreciate the fact that you guys listen to the show. I'm thankful that I can entertain you guys. You got a much more important job than I got. So thanks for everything you do. And once again, stay safe out there, and thank you again for listening to the show. This next question comes to me, I think, from China, because it's written in Chinese. It's actually typed in little gimmick letters on a computer. It came to the questions at steveaustonshow.com. I cannot read this question. I cannot answer this question because I do not speak Chinese. But thank you for sending it anyway. Here's one for you. What advice would you give a former indie wrestler now working a 9-to-5 office job who has to deal with stupid motherfucking colleagues and all you want to do is cut a promo on a lot of them, but you know you can't? That's from James. Well, check it out, James. This ain't the indie circuit, man. This is that 9-to-5 gig, and, you know, it's good of you to realize, hey, man, sometimes you got to buckle down and get a regular job, but you can't conduct yourself in that fashion, mister. So just keep your head screwed on right. Keep doing your job. Do the best you can. Represent yourself well. Keep getting that paycheck. Keep going down the road. And you're going to have good days and bad days, brother. But just keep the promo in your mind to yourself and keep a big smile on your face. I wish you well and good luck in your new endeavor. Here's one. Basically, the guy's drinking too much. Dear Steve, I love drinking. I love beer and I love whiskey. The other alcoholic beverages ain't too shabby either, but I'm afraid my love might be a little too strong. I'm almost 30 and I still regularly pass out with my head resting on my computer desk, nestled between an empty bottle of bourbon and a monitor displaying a wrestling dirt sheet rumor website, something about Great Khali and Hornswoggle. I'd like to think my boozing hasn't affected my personal life or my business, but I'm sure that isn't true. I've noticed some things changing for the worse. I'd like to just have a single glass of expensive scotch every day for the rest of my life because it's a ritual and sensation that I truly enjoy, but I can't have just one. I have one, I need two. I have two, I need 10. Runs in the family, but most of us handle it more responsibly than I have. Any advice you might have would be greatly appreciated, sir. This is coming from Mark. Mark, you got a drinking problem. I know a lot of guys with drinking problems. I don't think I would ever say I had a drinking problem. There were times in my life that I drank a shit pile. A lot. Mister, you got to look yourself in the eyes, look yourself in the mirror, and you got to stop that shit. I'm going to have a future show coming up here in a few weeks. I'm going to talk about alcohol and drugs. I'm going to talk about beer. I'm going to talk about whiskey, vodka, the hard stuff, pills, drugs, prescription, non-prescription, all that kind of bullshit. So stay tuned. I'll go into more detail. But talking about yourself specifically, I've been to a place close to where you're at, not exactly like where you're at. Best way to go about your situation, I would say, is to totally abstain from any of it. You don't need that one shot because that one shot makes you need another shot. You need not to have that shit in your house. You don't need to go to a bar where you can be around it. You don't need no peer pressure. Just listen to your email here, just reading it. I don't know. I never met you. I don't know you from Adam. But I think you're a strong enough cat. I think you're a smart enough cat that you can do this if you want to. Problem is, you got to want to. You got to make the decision. Then you got to follow up on that. Like I said, I've been to a spot very close to where you are. Everything in moderation, young man. Everything. Put that shit down. Walk away from it cold turkey. Trust me, you can do it. Here's one. This one's coming from old Mamadou. I might have pronounced his name wrong. Hey, Steve, my name is Mamadou. I'm from Cairo, Egypt. I'm a huge fan of you and your awesome show. Anyway, I sent you 2 questions earlier this month, and unfortunately, you didn't give a fuck about it, so I start answering one of these questions, motherfucker. Basically, the guy doesn't speak real good English, and he's mad at me for not answering his 2 questions. Thank you. Keep the show running. I like this shit. All right, Marmaduke, you motherfucker, send a better question, and I'll answer the son of a bitch. Thanks for writing into the show. Here's one from Justin. I am an athlete with a prior history of irregular heartbeat. According to DVD interviews, you attributed your hospital stay prior to WrestleMania 19 to overconsumption of caffeine, stress, etc. 2 questions here. How much caffeine or energy drinks would you estimate you were consuming per day at that time? 2, if you no longer use caffeine, what do you do to give yourself a boost prior to working out or speaking events you need to be up for? Well, how much caffeine was I drinking back then? Normally, I'd get out of bed and drink probably 2 12-pot gimmicks of Mr. Coffee. So you know the little gimmicks everybody's got. I'd drink 2 pots of coffee. But the problem was, it wasn't just caffeine. I'd drink 2 pots of coffee, and then I'd drink about 4 or 5 of those Rip Speed Stacks. And then, hell, at night, I was drinking about 3 bottles of wine. And on top of that, I wasn't drinking any water. So I was severely dehydrated, running my system ragged, and not really sleeping too much. So it was a combination of a lot of shitty decisions on my part. And yes, I do currently use caffeine because currently I drink about 1 gallon of water a day. I really don't drink at all. I'm actually on a diet. I'm having a drink now to wash down the trail dust. But it's a whole different system now than it was when I was on the road. Again, like I told the cat earlier, everything in moderation. Back at that time in my life, I didn't know what moderation was, but these days I do. I'll drink a couple cups of coffee, or before I work out. A good supplement that I love is Shroom Tech Sport from onnit.com/Steve. And that ain't a sales pitch, but you asked what I use to get up, and I use Shroom Tech Sport and a cup of coffee, and that's the bottom line. Here we go. Howdy, Steve. My name is James, and I'm going to ask you a very controversial question. Let's get this fucking question out of the way. What are your thoughts on Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame on the WWE? Yeah, I get what he did, but he should never be forgotten because of the things he's done in the wrestling field. You think he should be in the Hall of Fame? Well, first and foremost, what I think about Chris Benoit is that guy was one of the nicest guys I ever met in my life. He's one of the most talented, hard-working cats I've ever seen in a squared circle. Anybody who knew Chris would tell you those exact 2 things. That guy loved the damn wrestling business. He was born to be a wrestler, and he was absolutely phenomenal, drawing a lot of his inspiration, a lot of his influence from Dynamite Kid. Chris Benoit blazed the path as the Pegasus Kid, and his legacy as the crippler Chris Benoit was just one hellacious career. One night, Chris ended up killing his wife and his kid. That is a act so terrible and horrible, I can't even comprehend or even guess as to what happened in that house. That will always overshadow any accomplishment that Chris Benoit had in the ring. He'll never be in the Hall of Fame. It will just never happen. His career will speak for itself, but his record as a human being is first and foremost, and those actions will never be forgotten. That's my feelings on that. We don't even need to talk about the Hall of Fame. But speaking for myself, Chris Benoit, as the person I knew, loved him. Chris Benoit, as a wrestler, loved him. Chris Benoit, the person who did what he did, unforgivable, bottom line. Let's go on to one more question, wrap this thing up on a little bit of a lighter work. Just a comment. We'll read this comment and wrap this motherfucker up. This is from another guy. We got a lot of Jameses writing in on this show. I'm at the gym and just finished an upper body workout. It's almost time to be in a bathing suit, so trying to drop an extra 10 pounds. I get on the treadmill to finish off my workout, and about 10 minutes in, a guy gets on the treadmill next to me. I can't breathe because he has so much goddamn cologne on. He definitely doesn't listen to your podcast, but if I see him again, I'm going to tell him he should not be wearing that much cologne anywhere, but especially at the gym, because Stone Cold said so. That's what I'm telling you about, folks. Whether you're a guy, whether you're a gal, you don't need a bunch of goddamn squirts of that shit to prove how good you smell. Goddamn, use your goddamn scrubber in a bathtub. Use some decent smelling soap. If you want to put a goddamn splash of cologne on or a spray of fucking perfume between your tits just a cunt hair's worth, do it. Don't go putting all that shit on because nobody wants to smell your dumb ass. God damn it. You know, speaking of my body scrubber, before I fucking wrap this motherfucker up, it's amazing to me how just sitting in a car driving 800 miles with air conditioner on and a leather seat, you can get so goddamn scummy. I got home from the road yesterday, and I told you I took that hellacious dump outside of San Antonio at the Bill Miller barbecue, but just sitting there, and, you know, I'm probably farting about, you know, every 15 or 20 mile markers, and it's amazing the kind of cheese a human being can just build up sitting there farting. I couldn't wait when I got home yesterday to jump in a goddamn shower and grab my scrubber on a stick, my Gillette Macho Man motherfucking bath gel, and scrub my little ass clean. I use that damn scrubber on a stick to scrub my ass, my damn balls, my armpits, back of my head, the crack of my ass, everywhere. I'm the cleanest motherfucker in Los Angeles currently. I'm fixing to change all that because I'm fixing to go to the gym and have a bust-ass workout. I'm going to be training. What am I training today? I did chest the other day. I did shoulders before that. I might as well go in there and get me a goddamn, I think I'm going to do back or legs. But anyway, after I get done with that, I'll grab my scrubber on a stick and wash my ass again. All right, folks, this is Steve Austin. Jim Ross, my good friend, is coming on the show next episode. It'll be a 2-part episode. I'll go back in the studio and knock out some more shit. If you've got questions you want me answered, if you've got people you want me to interview, if you've got topics you want me to discuss, email those to questions@steveaustinshow.com. Until then, this is Steve Austin, and I'll catch your ass down the road.
Thank you for joining us for another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show. Please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends. For more Steve Austin Show, go to PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Dive into true crime on Pluto TV. Unravel the mysteries with Forensic Files and 48 Hours. Investigate crimes with Dateline 24/7 and Unsolved Mysteries. With thousands of free crime movies and TV shows, Pluto TV is the true home of crime. Download the Pluto TV app on all your favorite devices and start streaming true crime on live channels and on demand. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
What's up, guys? I'm Brendan Schaub. If you love everything mixed martial arts, I'm talking UFC breakdowns, UFC picks, one championship picks, Bellator, PFL, you name it, your boy breaks it all down. Tune into The Schaub Show, available every Monday wherever you listen to your podcasts. The Schaub Show. Enjoy.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Big Brother Jake, a.k.a. Jake Warner.
My government name.
Check it out. I host a show called The Big Brother Jake Podcast, and I've taken my talents to the biggest and baddest platform on the planet. That's right, baby. PodcastOne. My show is unique as I talk about everything. Life, sports, entertainment, being a single dad juggling several jobs. I'm a hot mess, but it's damn entertaining. Subscribe and review now on Apple Podcasts and listen on PodcastOne or wherever you get your podcasts.